I don't know if you can see, there are people doing exercises like Tai Chi, and they're just old people. They're doing them in formation. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Isn't it wonderful? I wish British people would do that. There's much more communal exercises every morning. I think there's a lot going for it, really. If everyone did that in South Park, it would create a sense of community. And there is an incinerator used for offerings to the hungry ghosts. And it's Hungry Ghost Month in a few weeks. And it's this belief in Chinese folk religion that for 1 month the souls of the dead come out of hell. And hell's not a bad place in Chinese mythology. It's the kind of place where you go, you pay for your sins. It's not very nice. So basically, you have a month back in the world where you can have fun. And they make little offerings to them. You get offerings of money, and they make offerings of food, and they have put on performances. And the front row of the performances is left blank, left empty for the hungry ghost, so you never sit there. That's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. I'm just going to breakfast, which is very nice. Oh, there are various children running around in school. Yeah, so that's interesting, isn't it? And these are very nice. I mean, there's a car park on the right, you see, for these. There's a complex of apartments, and there's a car park for them. There's all kinds of facilities. It's a really lovely community. And I think it puts a lot of things in Britain to shame, There's a real sense of community. Everything's very organised. And I like organised. So that's wonderful, isn't it? And here's the main road. But yeah, I don't think of anything else to say. Yeah, and they have all the walkways, there are sort of covers on them in case it's raining. Everything's thought about. In Britain, things aren't really thought about. Incompetence is a default position, really, for public services. That's a bit unfair, perhaps, but generally speaking. Whereas in Singapore, if there's a public service, like, for example, my father was ill. He visited last year, and we went to the doctor. And we're foreigners. We paid $30, which is about 15 quid. We got a consultation with the doctor, brilliant doctor. Came to the diagnosis, prescribed the medicine. It was a one-stop shop, so we got the medicine provided. In about half an hour, he went away with his pills. There's minor birds, they're naughty little things, and they've come to eat. They think, oh, here's a human, so there must be lots of nice food being chucked around. So I think it's wonderful, really. Bus service, very, very good. So yeah, a very, very, very good society in many ways. Free speech is a bit of an issue. I think you're allowed free speech, but you've got to tell them what you're going to say before you have your free speech. You've got to fill in a form, and you've got to go to a particular place, to Hong Lim Park. But if you do all those things, you can have your free speech. But I suppose it's not really free speech, is it? But then there are cultural differences. People don't appreciate that. Everybody in Britain, they assume that their cultural values are universal. You have to apply culture. You have to apply things to different cultures in different ways. And Singapore is essentially largely a Chinese culture. And there's a different way of thinking, a different way of approaching problems. It's not necessarily bad. It's just a different collective. It's the feeling of collective responsibility. You see, it's very good. They've got a little button, so you can, if you're blind, you can feel it. Actually, if you're blind and deaf, you can cross because you can feel it when it starts to go. It's wonderful, really, isn't it? And lots of instructions. Typical of Singapore, very full of instructions. There we go. And what's nice as well is when you cross it, you get the green man, but you get a little number which tells you how long you got. So obviously if it was on 3, we'd start to rush a little bit. They don't have that in Britain, do they? They don't think about doing that in Britain. I think that's the thing. It's thoughtfulness which one gets the sense of. But of course it's taken for granted. And there we have crime alert. There are always police crime alerts. Are you sure it is not a scam when shopping online? Because people fall for scams. So it's very protective of people, trying to get people to be aware of all these things. And it's wonderful, really. Ooh. Anyway, there's little shops, there's little outlets. And food's very important, and there's lots and lots of different types of food. You know, they've got different shops and very high quality of food. I'm surprised the Singaporeans aren't all the size of houses. There's the Rivervale Mall. The door's open for me, you see. That doesn't happen, does it, in Britain? Anyway, I'm going to have my breakfast now. I'm well known here, they know me very well. Anyway, ta-ta.